Hello everybody. The video that I'm going to do here, the presentation I'm putting on, is how to perform a compression test on a lawnmower, or any engine for that matter. So we do a compression check only to get a base idea of the condition of the cylinder. If everything's going well, we should get a reading usually in excess of 100 pounds. But we have to be careful with the modern engines because most of them have a built-in compression release. So that makes the compression test not necessarily accurate because as it's coming up on the compression stroke, the exhaust valve will open slightly and allow some of the pressure off. So we really can't rely on this as a good indication of the condition of the engine, but just need to be aware of that. So first things first, we need to have our engine warmed up. It's not a good idea. You're not usually going to get a good reading if you have a cold engine. So in this case here, let's say that we did in fact warm this engine up. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to remove our spark plug. And our compression tester is nothing more than a gauge with a relief valve and a device which threads down into the cylinder. Be careful. You'll note that this can be threaded in much farther than the spark plug. And if we do that, it's going to do damage to the engine. So count the amount of threads that we have on the spark plug, which is about 5. We're going to turn our compression tester in approximately 5 turns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's some carbon buildup in there which is stopping us from going any farther. So that's about as far as we're going to get with it. Now the gauge probably isn't going to want to stay put, so we'll have to find a place for it. And after I pull it, you'll be able to look at the readings. A couple of precautions. If it is possible, you want to disable the ignition system. If it is possible, you want to disable the fuel system. Let's say you have a fuel injected engine and you're doing compression tests. You don't want to be spraying fuel inside of the cylinder because it can wipe all the oil off the cylinder walls, and the next thing you know, you have no lubrication for your piston rings. So try to disable the ignition, try to disable the fuel if possible. With an engine like this, there's really no way that we can. After we're installed, we're basically ready to go ahead and carry out the test. Another thing is you want to have the throttle wide open when you do this test. That will allow the maximum amount of airflow into the engine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give the cord a few pulls, and then we're going to look at our reading and see what we get. And as we look at our gauge, look at that. We're pretty close to 100. We're at about 90 pounds. And that is given that this does have a compression release in it. I'll almost guarantee it. So the engine's probably just fine. Actually, it is fine because it does run well. But this is what you're looking at, okay? So, and if you want to release the pressure, just push the button and the pressure has been released. Now let's say you get a low reading. One thing that you could try if you want to test for bad piston rings is you could put like a cap full of oil down the spark plug hole and pull the engine over a couple times. See if the compression reading is higher after that. If you have worn out rings, the oil will coat the rings and they'll seal better and you'll get a higher reading. So usually that's a pretty good indication you've got bad rings, adding oil, increasing. Again, a reminder, it's best to do this with the engine warm, with the throttle wide open. Try to disable the ignition, try to disable the fuel system, anything like that which can make it a safer job. And do keep in mind about the possibility of the compression release interfering with your reading. So we'll take one more reading of it. And a little bit lower this time. But that's all that's really to the compression test. Again, be careful that you don't thread this in too far and cause damage to the valves or the head. We'll replace our spark plug. And then after I put this mower back down on the ground, only then will I reconnect my spark plug wire. Okay, that's really it for this video. Thanks for watching.